Welcome to a brand new episode of CNB. I am Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. Why do I have the Nissan Magnite and Renault Kyger with me? Well, you already know that they are twins that come off the CMF-A platform from Renault Nissan's alliance. And in India, both have become fairly popular. They're both good looking, but that's not the reason why they're here. They both have been crash tested by Global NCAP. These were tests that we were really waiting for. There was a lot riding on it, especially for Nissan. Take a look at how the test went. A new year and new round of safer cars for India crash test. The cars in question are the duo that share their platform, drivetrains and many components. The Nissan Magnite and the Renault Kyger. Both cars are built on the Renault Nissan CMF-A platform for compact cars. The Magnite arrived in India at the very end of 2020 and the model tested is the base variant, as in all NCAP tests. Make or break product for Nissan in India, a lot riding on it. And yes, it's got a great reception in the market. People seem to like this car because of its price positioning as well. So there was a worry then. Is there a compromise on the safety front? Luckily, the score reflects otherwise. The Magnite has achieved a good 4 stars for adult occupant protection with an 11.85 score on a maximum 17 points. The car was tested in a frontal offset crash test at 64 km per hour and there was no side impact test. There is a concern on the level of injury seen on the driver's side dummy's chest area. On child occupant protection, the Magnite's score is low at just 2 stars, and the key reason is the lack of Isofix child seat restraints in the rear. The model also lost points over the lack of electronic stability control, or ESC, a lap seat belt instead of a 3-point system for the rear middle passenger, and no side head impact protection as standard. Now the Magnite's alter ego, the Renault Kyger, and coming on the heels of last year's good 4-star performance by the Triber MPV, my expectation was high here too. So the Triber score may have been a surprise, a positive one, but therefore it set the expectation now for the CMF-A platform to do a lot better, both with the Magnite and the Kyger, and the good news is it hasn't slipped up. The Kyger has also managed an impressive 4 stars and in fact beats the overall score of the Triber and even the Magnite. On child protection, it is a similar 2-star performance, and the car was tested with child seats strapped in by seat belts, not Isofix. So, similar scores, right? So it's an interesting situation where, of course, you always have lots of cars coming off the same platform, but these are really twins in every sense of the word. And it's the interesting part, the fact that they've been crashed at the same time. So you'd think that with the same platform, the same production site, same assembly line, the crash performance on these cars would be identical. Well, that is the assumption, but we do need to find out if it's true. Like the Triber, the Kyger's body shell also received an unstable rating. This has to do with the chassis construction at points like the door sill, for instance. The Magnite's structure, though, got a stable rating. So there are differences between the two cars, even though they share a platform.
But there are some parts of the structure themselves which I've noticed a difference. For example, the lower beam, or basically the side structure and lower beam area, both cars are different. In terms of the behavioral performance they have, let's say the way they behave from the frontal crash, they show a little bit of a difference, but in terms of the global performance, they don't show large differences as well. Question mark will be, what will be the case if we are testing these two cars on a side impact? We don't know how these two differences are going to actually perform and which one's going to be better.
When it comes to child safety, remember it's a crucial part of any crash test because we're talking not just of adult occupant protection but also child occupant protection. And in most cars, you would think that that's covered by just a kind of recommendation on the actual child seats from the manufacturer. Now, we've seen that in many of the recent results where we've either had a good score or a bad score, depending on the structure and also those recommendations themselves. Now, here in the Kyger, there's a very peculiar situation. If you look at the recommendation on the website that, consumers have a chance to look at, one of the things listed in the safety equipment is Isofix, child seat Anchorage. The car has it, and yet when this test was carried out, it was carried out with belted seats. And the reason for that is because while it does have the Isofix, back here, the top tether, you have the little loop that comes around and, the strap that fixes in. It is here, it is back here. It's a little low, but for what it's worth, it's back here. But it's behind this fabric. And I can't understand that. It's on both sides. It's behind the fabric. So as a consumer, you'd have to, cut that open to get access to it. Doesn't make sense, and it doesn't really add up in terms of why the company would actually provide the equipment and then hide it.
This is a proud moment for Renault in India, as Kyger was developed and produced in the country for Indian customers first. The 4-star rating by NCAP reiterates our commitment to bringing technologically advanced products which are safe yet trendy.
Global NCAP is expected to tighten its India test protocol to include side impact testing in the second half of 2022. So very minor changes to the structure and equipment on both cars could take them closer to 5 stars. Now, these weren't the only cars that were crash tested. There were 2 more, both from Honda. That's the next crash test to look at. In the first round of tests in 2022 under its Safer Cars for India program, Global NCAP has results for 2 Honda models sold in the country. The Honda City compact sedan and Honda Jazz premium hatch have been tested for frontal offset impact. And yes, you are right, it is the older City, not the new 5th generation. Now, post-impact, you can see on that sill, even up here on this particular structural beam, that there aren't too many intrusions. There isn't a complete deforming of that structure. That's the part that, of course, holds the City in good stead. Now, you may wonder why it is the older City, but remember, this car is still on sale in India, and Global NCAP will always look at the most basic version of a car that is available in the market for the test protocol. Despite being the old gen, the result is good. 4 stars for adult occupant protection. The car's structure and footwell were still rated as unstable though. The lack of a 3-point seat belt in the middle rear seat also cost it some points. The dummy impact chart shows minimal injuries to frontal occupants though. Standard Isofix child seat mounts did see a good performance, translating to a high 4-star score for child occupant protection.
But something interesting that Honda is using is that they add to the structure that goes over the wheel arch, they add another element, and the wheel arch goes a little bit lower, and they have another element crossing it until the longitudinal. You can see this also in this side of the car, which is been uncrushed. So you have the structure that goes over the wheel arch, and it goes to a lower point, and then you have a connector, another big part of the structure, which connects to the longitudinal. What is this doing? You have a much wider structure available to absorb energy. You distribute the energy, you actually divert the energy outside of the compartment, to the outside of the car. You can dissipate more energy in a more efficient way in terms of the dimension, and at the same time, you can do something which we understand it's also good. You are somehow being less aggressive to whatever you're crushing with this structure, which is very important. We're not yet assessing that part of the car in Global NCAP, but it's going to likely come in the future. Some NCAPs, like Euro NCAP, is already assessing that.
Have you found something similar on other models from Honda globally as well?
I would say that all the cars we tested from Honda so far, all of them have the same philosophy or the same design in the structure, all of them. Starting with Mobilio from India, we tested already many years ago, so we already had seen this portion of the structure.
The Jazz in India is also of an older vintage now and shares its platforms and parts with that city. It actually scored very well with a very high 4-star rating. Protection to front occupants also shows minimal injury. It's really long in the tooth now in India. The Jazz has been on sale for a while. This current generation continues to sell even as you have a new Jazz since last year in so many other markets. But here's the kicker. Despite the fact that this car was developed like a decade ago, it's still doing better in terms of structural safety and overall score than something much more modern and new. For child occupant safety, the car lost points for not offering Isofix, which is strange given it shares so much with the city. But the structural integrity and stable shell helped it get close to 4 stars here too. The lack of a 3-point rear middle seat belt hurt the score overall on the Jazz as well.
In this car, we were expecting to find Isofix anchorages, and they are not present, so the manufacturer needed to recommend child seats which are not using the Isofix connectors. In a good decision, they decided to put the Q3, which is a 3-year-old, rearward facing. That was okay, but using a seat belt actually caused that performance of that seat in particular wasn't the best. In an Isofix connectors, that would have been much better.
All right. Are you surprised that it's different to the city considering they're the same platform?
Not that much. It's the same platform, but there are some other differences in terms of dimensions, in terms of weight, in terms of weight distribution, so we're not that much surprised, but in general, structurally speaking, they were very good, both of them.
The latest Global NCAP crash test results for both models, the 4th Gen Honda City and the 3rd Gen Honda Jazz that we started selling in India in 2014 and 15 respectively, emphasize Honda's long-standing commitment to safety for everyone, which is not limited to the needs of car drivers but extends to passengers, pedestrians and occupants of all vehicles. We continue to refine our innovative safety technologies and equip every new generation of vehicles with the most advanced and effective safety technologies to ensure everyone's safety on road.
Honda's overall approach to safety is very creditable. The safety is baked into the platform development, which makes us very confident and hopeful of the trickle-down effect to all Honda models in India and in any market. The fact that the last generation cycle cars are scoring so well speaks volumes when rivals are not necessarily at the same levels with even newer generations of their cars. As always, carandbike pushing the safety agenda, and as always, exclusive access for you at the Global NCAP crash tests. Short break, we're back with a look at the new X3. Keep watching. Welcome back to CNB. Last week, I showed you a glimpse of the new facelifted BMW X3. Now Seshan has all the details for you on what's changed on the car.
BMW India has kick-started 2022 with the launch of an important product which has gone through a life cycle impulse or NCI. What is that? Well, it's BMW terminology for a mid-cycle facelift. And the model we are talking about is the company's highly sought-after SUV, the X3.
The BMW X3 is one of the more popular cars from the Bavarian car brand in India, and with this 2022 facelift, the car gets a refreshed look and several new and updated features and tech. So let's get into the detail and know a bit more about them. Before we get into the video, do like this video and share it, subscribe to our channel and do not forget to press the bell icon.
The X3 petrol is offered in two trims, Sport X Plus and M Sport, and it's the latter we are driving today in this exclusive M Brooklyn grey metallic color. In its 2022 avatar, the SUV looks sportier, more premium and aggressive compared to the pre-facelift models. Up front, you have a larger chrome grille, in line with BMW's latest design language, along with new, slimmer, adaptive full LED headlights and new daytime running lights. The new bumper too adds to the X3's aggressive design, with its bold, sculpted lines and large intakes. The model with us came with a set of 20-inch M wheels. However, these are for the first 50 customers only as part of an early bird offer. 19-inch alloys are what you get as standard. The rear is where you see the biggest change, thanks to the new and bold LED taillights that instantly grab your attention, along with the dual chrome-tipped exhaust and glossy black insert.
Now, the X3's cabin too has received a good makeover. In fact, the overall layout has been updated. As you can see, the dashboard over here gets a nice soft touch faux leather dash top with some nice white stitching. There is also this brushed finish for the panel across the center console, and there are some new features as well, like these seats. These are Sensatec leather upholstery. You also get the M leather steering wheel over here in this top end M Sport variant, and apart from that you also get a fully digital instrument console and an infotainment system. Both are 12.3 inches. There is also touchscreen functionality over here, and it also gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Apart from that, other features, there is a panoramic sunroof over here. There are 3-zone climate controls. However, BMW does not offer wireless phone charger, and that is a miss.
The infotainment system also comes with BMW's gesture controls and virtual assistant. While it is convenient while driving, it certainly takes some getting used to. The rear section largely remains unchanged and continues to offer good amount of space and comfort. You get individual aircon systems, individual headrests with 3-point seat belts for all. As for boot capacity, the X3 comes with 550 liters of luggage space, with all the seats upright. The new X3 comes with a host of safety tech, including Parking Assistant Plus with a 360-degree view camera and tire pressure monitoring system. Additionally, you also get 6 airbags, electric parking brake with auto hold, Isofix child seat mounts, attentiveness assistance, dynamic stability control and cornering brake control, among others.
Now, this X3 facelift is powered by a 2-liter twin turbocharged petrol engine that makes about 248 bhp and 350 Nm of peak torque. These numbers are quite good, and you can feel them while you drive the car. Of course, as you expect from a turbocharged engine, there is a bit of a turbo lag in the initial RPM, but once you cross the 2500 RPM mark, the car certainly becomes alive, and you can then pulls forward with great gusto. The transmission duties are handled by an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it is quite good. The shifts are nice, smooth, and it makes the drive a lot more engaging as well. Of course, you also get BMW's X-Drive all-wheel drive system as standard with the car, and that adds to the overall driving dynamics.
However, if you wish for a more engaging drive, just push the shifter lever to manual mode and use the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel to get the reins in your hand. You also get automatic hold function. BMW recently also added a diesel model to the X3 lineup, but we'll share our views on that some other day.
In terms of ride and handling, the suspension feels a bit stiff, but that translates to great handling, and even the feedback from the steering is quite nice. It has a nice heft to it, and certainly shows, and you just have to point the car in the direction and it goes.
However, BMW also offers adaptive suspension that comes with individual electronically controlled dampers, which can adapt to both road conditions and driving style to offer a comfortable ride. Plus, you also get 4 driving modes: Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus. So you can set the car as per your driving style. The BMW X3 is available at an ex-showroom India price of 59,90,000 rupees and goes all the way to 65,90,000 rupees for the top-end M Sport trim. In comparison, the Mercedes-Benz GLC is marginally expensive at a starting price of 61 lakh. The Audi Q5 marginally undercuts the X3 with a starting price of 59 lakh and 22,000 rupees, whereas the Volvo XC60, which comes only in one variant, is priced at 63 lakh 50,000 rupees. So in a nutshell, the BMW X3 is certainly at par with its rivals in terms of performance and price. In fact, in some cases, it's even better. So if you're looking for a petrol SUV in the 60 lakh to 70 lakh price bracket, then the X3 is stylish, gets a good number of features and tech, and offers great performance and handling. And we think you should definitely consider it as an option.
That's the new X3. Now, it's good to see subcompact cars like these starting to do better in crash tests. In fact, Global NCAP's crash tests for the India-made cars over the past few years, they have crossed half a century. 50 cars made in India have been crash tested so far, and there are a few more coming. We'll, of course, have those details for you. Please react to this news. Please tell us what more you'd like to see happen on the safety front. You know how you can reach me. And please wear your seatbelts. Promise me that. Bye-bye.